Today is October, it's not, it's August the 3rd. And this morning I did a video, health video on my TikTok account. I can link it in the description, and here now I'm doing my second live broadcast as a continuation of my first one, where I introduced myself very broadly from the time I was a performance coach and head of education until I was recruited to do my PhD and then recruited to the University of Helsingfors to be a research leader. It's been a fantastic journey, which sadly ended when the dean at our faculty decided to, which I think is illegal, just stop my research. And the bottom line is, during that process, I asked the rector to evaluate my research, and he concluded that I was one of the top researchers. And he had a talk with her, and he came back to me and wrote, she wants to help you, but you don't have any research money at the moment. Rather cunning, isn't it? But anyway, after that, this was the next year, another researcher reported that the freedom of speech was suppressed at that very faculty. And a year after, the same tabloid reported that the research at the University of Helsingfors, all of it, has collapsed. So here you go, there's an interesting discrepancy here. So I was one of the top scientists. I had to go because I didn't like my conclusions. This is true. I'm not the only one who suffer this faith, if you like. And then the rest of them collapsed. Sad for all of us, of course. But here I'm going to restart the presentation on myself. And this is just some practice to see how this live YouTube thing works. How it is compared to the TikTok live, where I had a lot of viewers actually. I think I did 56 live broadcasts. In my record, I did 50, but TikTok claims I did more. Who should I trust? Anyway, I started as a performance coach in my teens. This is a very strange situation, really. So the year before, at age 14, I had started to work with my father in the family business. And that went on for 10 years. So growing up with a business owner, of course, implicit learning will influence you. And of course, I was a son of my father, so his thinking became my thinking and so on. So when I was assigned to lead a small sport operations within the YMCA, I started to work that operation, I guess, like you work a business. And my prime target actually was to write investment budgets. This sounds crazy. And this maybe started it started probably immediate. So I spent a couple of years doing board work, or board and management work, negotiating with adults about investing in new inventory, which was the material used for the operations. during that process, I was kind of successful because we had two. This was a trampoline operation, which is you have them in the gardens, but they're also a trampoline used in competition. And I spent about 7 years doing this and doubled the inventory, meaning we invested in 2 new trampolines. The side effect of that, which I have been thinking more about for the past 3 or 4 years or something like that, was that we needed more people. Like any growing organization, we needed more people. So in a couple of years, I became the manager of more than 10 people rather immediately. And when I left at 23 and a half years of age, I was the head coach and managing 14 assistants. The sad story about this is, of course, that people recognized my performance, but I think they were stunned by the fact that a kid like me at that time could perform at that level. How could I, as a teenager, build such a huge operation from nothing? I think we became the largest sport operation, trampoline operation in Sweden, which is great. When I left, because I have reached the target, I had doubled the inventory, which was actually my prime target. They contacted me and asked if I could be head of education, because there was a small, newly founded Swedish Trampoline Federation, and they had some head of educations. They had an educational committee, and they had a few people trying to do that. They had a couple of courses every year, and then I think they had a power struggle. So someone who basically liked what I did decided to suggest me as a candidate, and they looked at my record and they thought this would probably be great. This is a guy who can make things happen. And it did, actually. So it took off, and instead of 2 courses a year, I think we had like 10 or something like that. Because instead of just organizing 2 of them and wait for people to sign in, I started to market these courses and construct different ways for these, I don't know, we say förening in Swedish, but a sport club, to be the organizer of a course, because they knew their neighbors. Sweden is a big country, really big country. It's the 4th largest country in Europe, 445 million square kilometers, or stuff like that. So flying to the north takes 1.5 to 2 hours, and 1 hour to the south. And typically I had to go by train or car, which was a fantastic adventure at that time, of course. And that meant that this became like a business, and I also was offered financing from folkhögskolor. It's not high school, it's not university, but something in between. It's an alternative way to improve your academic skills and stuff like that. And they had a lot of money. So what they said, that if you place your course at our place and allow our teachers to take 25% of the course time, all the lectures. You get the rest of the money, which was 75% of the money. It was like a joke. So I could basically conduct one course a month and have a great living. Sadly, this pissed off some people, my competitors, who thought it was unfair that they paid me and not them. And that eventually led me to leave the whole thing because I had a job offer, like a normal job. And I spent there 2 years. And I became really good at finance, accounting and stuff like that. And they called me and because they had failed and they wanted me back. So we made another deal where they paid me like a consultant fee. But the money from the folkhögskolor, it was gone, and no, I could no longer make any money. Still, the grumpy guy, it was actually one guy, he was very powerful, who didn't like that I was kind of successful. He initiated his conflict again. But we kept doing this for a couple of years again. I think we did it for, if I remember this correct, 3 years or so. And I went to our chairman at that time. He was also a business executive in Kista, which is like the Silicon Valley of Stockholm. And he was annoyed over my performance. This is so paradoxical. So he said to me like this is what he said: "You outperform the rest of us." And verbatim, that's a word by word, it sounded great. And I thought, this is a business guy, okay. So if he thinks I'm great doing this, maybe he wants me in his organization. But he didn't, because he didn't like me. He was offended over the fact that I, as a single person, and rather young still, outperform a number of people. Many of them were business people. I don't know how successful they were, but they expected themselves to be sort of the top of the food chain. That actually led to us again part way. And for me, it was, I was actually revealed to do that, because for those 3 years, I didn't make any money, so it was meaningless for me to do it. It was like I gave away my expertise. The first stint, I made a lot of money and had a great experience doing it. It's a fantastic memory. All in all, this, with the break and everything, this covered 7 years of my life. So from the time I started this, I spent 14, 15 years doing this thing, and of course accumulated a huge amount of experience when it comes to managing and educating, because I traveled a lot and met so many different people. Something happened with the phone. So finally, I was assigned, they recruited me to a club to take over as a coach. And I met 6 wonderful kids. I was really into coaching one guy. He was fantastic, but they added 5 kids to that group for financial reasons. And I'm pretty glad over that, actually, because working as a group in an individualistic sport really helped, actually, because they became friends because they spent so much time together. And the top athlete, him and me, we became really good friends, and I think we spent 5 years together in that coaching project before it ended, and he started a business career and became really successful. And I went back to the academy and eventually was recruited to do my PhD. Interesting. So it stops here. This could be part 1. Still testing just to see how I'm working with this, and I hope people will check it out, and so we can be interactive. So I'll be back with a continuation of this. See you next time. Let's see how you stop this.